Make some noise! Hey Rasp, I think this stuff is too easy. I think we're looking at a future world champion out there because they must know something he's done. How many hours does it take you to... How many hours practice do you put in?
Realistically, about 4 hours a day.
And, right, so what, you get up in the morning, 4 hours a day, and you say, right, I'm going to do 4 hours of practice.
I have like a wife and kids and job and all that, so I've got to fit the hours practicing, you know, around all that. Like, some days I can do like 3 hours just straight up run, and other times like I try and do an hour here and an hour there. And like I keep the practice focused, so like I'll focus just on scratch techniques or beat juggling or like experimental stuff.
So we're going to talk about some of the styles and get Rasp to do some of the demonstrations. Before the technology, the DJs were doing it with their minds and with what they were limited with, and that's the essence of really what DMC is about. It's about what the DJ can do with the basic stuff. That's 2 turntables, a mixer. Yes, we've now included the laptop because it is the digital age. We've got to keep inventing ourselves. We've got to keep up to date. You know, personally, my philosophy is if you share the record shops more than you share the music downloading, we'll still have them around. Personally, because that was where, see some people are clapping because they probably get it. Because the record shop was the place you used to go, find your music, spend your hours in there, you meet up with DJs, and that's how you congregated, that's how you knew about stuff. People were from the same, you know, ideas, philosophies, all that stuff in the record shop. Buying the same music, having the same, you know, habits and stuff. All this going online stuff, it's all great. Yeah, you can get music instantly, but you're alone, you know. And again, before you even got on the turntables and called yourself a DJ by buying a laptop or a controller and just playing at your friend's birthday, you was actually a record boy. You carried that stuff. See me, I put on a bit of belly, because I'm not carrying records anymore. Carry your records! Forget the 40-minute workout, forget all that stuff out, carry your records. Carry this thing now as well. So Rasp, we're going to show people really, I want to show people how difficult this is, because you're making it look too easy, you know. I mean, kids can pick up things really, really quick, you know. We've got an online competition, DMC, we've got 4 competitions. We've got the Battle for Supremacy, which this guy does, And what he actually does, he put all those sets together, but he goes one-on-one against another DJ. And that really brings out the aggression in you. Luckily he's kept it clean, because this guy can get foul against another DJ. And if you want to see him in action, the 2014 DMC World Final is going to be in London, as usual. It's in Kentish Town on the 5th of October. So, you know, if you want to come out and say, look, I saw this guy in Birmingham, come out and support him. Because that gives you the encouragement to do something, you know. Scotland are going their own way. So we need to keep what we can keep, come support this guy. Joke. Good luck to Scotland, whatever. Right, no politics here, just music. Good music. Music doesn't have no politics, you know. You could be the toughest guy out there, you put the right tune on, you better be nodding your head or you're dead, as far as I'm concerned. Music can soften you up. There's two things that soften a guy up: women and music. So you've got to have one or the other. Okay, so like I said, this guy's doing this all live. We know today the digital age allows you to do some amazing things. For example, you can DJ without DJ. You can just play the MP3, the USB, and just stand there and pretend you're DJ. We don't do that at the DMC. This is all live, this is all going on. Do you want to show us some techniques? Yeah, put a beat on. So we're going to talk about scratching. What is scratching to these type of DJs? Scratching is how we vocal ourselves. That's our singing, scratching. And scratching is supposed to be rhythmical, you know? So Rasp will go through some of those techniques. Everyone hears this sound, fresh. It's an old school word. So he's doing cutting at the moment. He's playing the sound back and forwards, and that's how you're hearing it. Anybody want to have a try at this? No? You said that 25 years ago, it would have been a cue, like you're going to the toilet. Women? Okay. You're shaming them up, that's why. That's called the church. Anybody knows who called it the church? Alright. Anybody heard of the Fresh Prince? Yeah? Who does the DJ? Jazzy Jeff, that's right. And the record they demonstrated that scratch on was called The Magnificent. You can probably Google it, see if I know what I'm talking about. So, you know, back then in the 80s, we had to visualise what we were doing. So we did the chirp, do the chirp. It's meant to sound like a bird. If you use the whistle sound, it will. So, the chirp was actually invented by a DJ called Cutmaster. And he didn't call it the chirp. He called it boogaboos, because he used to do this pattern. Can you do it? So he takes something like and he invented that scratch. Cash Money's from Philadelphia, by the way. And he is also a DMC World Champion. Anyone know what year? Cash Money? Oh God. I'm really schooling him today. He won in 1988. Probably some of you weren't born then. You go and Google the 80s, you'll see all these fancy fly clothes, lot of polka dots, people with pencil top hair. Anyway, Cash Money won that. Do another scratch? How about some transforming? You're going to see a lot of people do this. So everyone's using this same sound, and we're basically trying to manipulate as many times as possible, in many ways as possible. So that's the transformer scratch. And basically you're cutting the sound out into lots and lots of fractions. Let's just let the sound play normally. That's the sound. Transform it. And again, that came out through Jazzy Jeff. You know, Fresh Prince called it transforming because it sounds like the Autobots. You know the movie Transformers? That's what they were doing. Came out in the 80s, by the way. Next scratch, what are you going to do? Alright. You see a lot of people doing that, and that's called a flare. And what you're doing with flaring, with the scratches I talked about before, you open the fader, You do your scratch, you close the fader. This works in total reverse. You're having the fader always open and you're closing it to get the cuts. See the fader? Oh, there's no split there, of course. You can see the fader's always open. So he's cutting the sound in the middle. And you can go really fast with that. So that's a fast right click. And now what we do, we refer to the amount of clicks to get the sound manipulated in different ways. So the more clicks you do, the more complicated the sound sounds. Can you do a 2 click there? Guys, doing 2 things there. You're doing drags. Just leave the fader open, do the movement. Just the movement of the record. That's the drag on the back, alright? And he's doing the more clicks to get that sound. Go on. And yeah, you can do any kind of pattern. You could probably do myriad and little lamb. That's the rhythmic side. And to me, the most vital side. Because you can do all those clicks and all that stuff, but if it's not in time, it's just like dancing without being on beat. And that's a bad move, guys. Especially for the ladies that are checking you out. Okay. So, because the benefits of digital and analog, when I used to do this, we used to get asked, doesn't that wear your records out? Why are you doing that? It did analog-wise, but it doesn't do it digitally because obviously you're not scratching that sound. That's all I need to explain. That's all you need to know. Digital is pretend, analog is real. That's all you need to know. Alright, DJ Premier begin. So now he's doing something called a crab scratch. And that was invented by a DJ called Cuba, very well known DMC champion. 1992, he won with a guy called Cutmaster and a DJ Apollo. They came out of that when they were doing a scratch copying a British guy called Excel. Because when he was flaring, he thought they were doing what we call a twiddle. Can you do twiddling? That's a twiddle. So he thought that was how they did a flare. And then they looked at it and went, wow, that's not what we're doing. And then they manipulated it with all the fingers, and it's called crabs. So if you hear a DJ saying, I've got crabs, he hasn't got the real crabs, if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're good people. If you do know what I'm talking about, you better get yourself down to the clinic. Right. So that's crabs. And again, you can hear it's manipulating the sound. So doing crabs with the drag. You start combination all the sounds. Another scratch, another scratch. There's millions of scratches basically. There's so many. Go on, what are you else going to do?
Chirp what?
Chirp, flare. So we've got a chirp, that's a chirp. And then the flare. Okay, so put them together. So that's the chirp flare. So when you hear someone doing that now, oh, he's doing the chirp flare. No problem, it's easy. Yeah, I know why they're doing that. Okay, next scratch.
Boomerang.
Sorry?
Boomerang.
Boomerang. You know what a boomerang is? You must do. Any Aussies in the house? No. Alright. Just show the movement so they can understand what it is. It's the movement in the record that's more important because all you do with the fader is opening and shutting it. So see what he's doing? Forward, backwards. 2 forwards, 2 back in it. Yeah, 2 forwards, 2 back. And he's putting a flare in it. Go for it. There you go. Do the crabs. Yeah. How about a round of applause for some of this stuff? Girls, he's very good with his hands. So what he doesn't make up for his size, his hands can do a lot. You dirty people. Right, what else you got? There's so many scratches, honestly. I don't know them all. Tears. Alright, a tear, go on, is basically, again, with a record movement. And it's the pauses in the record. So the sound is whole, and when you stop, you're tearing it.
But like 2 forward, 1 back.
2 forward, 1 back. Put the fade on it. Yeah. What else you got? Drills. That's an old school scratch. You got drills, you got... Basically, how many movements you can do adds to the complication of the scratch. Let's move on to some juggling. You could do some of that?
Yeah.
Juggling basically is the manipulation of 2 pieces of vinyl and you're recreating the groove. Yeah? Anyone knows about any jugglers out there? Any of you not heard of the Executioners? Rock Raider? Rob Swift? Mr. Sinister? Total Eclipse? Right. After you've come from here, you need to get down to booth C81. We're showing a video of the documentary and all this stuff. Gives you a quick catch up to this. If you don't want to do that, you've got your phones, you've got internet, Google dmcworld.tv. We've got all the videos, lots of PAs, lots of appearances, and you'll get a quick school lesson of how we're doing all this. So basically, he's got 2 copies of the same record, and he's going to change it up. This is called back cueing. That was invented by Cutmaster, the originator of this art form.
Break it down.
Now he's going to break it down. Hear it? And he's breaking it down in an arrangement, so there's a certain amount of count. And it should be on me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, timing is really important. Quickly on the top. Get on this.